After an intense debate of 8 long hours, the Uniform Civil Code Bill of Gujarat has been passed by Gujarat State Legislative Assembly. So in this session, we'll discuss the key provisions of that bill and also understand its exemptions. Hello everyone, welcome to Drishti IAS. My name is Saloni Nanthiolier. Let's get started. So I told you that the Gujarat State Legislative Assembly has passed Gujarat Uniform Civil Code Bill 2026 by a majority vote. And this was done to implement Uniform Civil Code in the state. And with the passing of this bill, Gujarat has become the only second state in the country to do so, after Uttarakhand. So Uttarakhand passed the Uniform Civil Code Bill in February 2024. And now in March 2026, Gujarat has become the only second state in the country to do so. Now, if we talk of the structure of Gujarat in order to understand what will be the future of this bill, so is Gujarat unicameral or bicameral? Is Gujarat unicameral or bicameral? Gujarat is unicameral, which means that Gujarat only has a lower house or the state legislative assembly. It does not have an upper house or the legislative council. So now that the bill has been passed by the legislative assembly, it is going to go to the governor of the state, and then the governor is going to decide whether he will give his assent to the bill, withhold the assent, or leave it for the consideration of the president. So this is what's going to happen to the bill, but for now we need to understand that the bill has been passed by the state legislative assembly by a very unique type of vote, which is the voice vote. Now, voice voting is a unique scenario that differs from the regular voting. So what happened in Gujarat is that there was a discussion going on for 8 long hours. There was intense debate, arguments, members expressed their concerns, voices, everything. And after the end of the discussion, the Speaker of the House asked one question: are you in favor of the bill? And then the members of the House had to respond by shouting. They had to respond by shouting yes, yes or I. If they are in the favor of the bill, they have to shout yes or I, or no if they are against it. So they shout either yes or no, and then based on that, based on the loudness of the voice, the Speaker of the House decides whether majority of the House is in the favor of the bill or is it against it. So if the voice of yes is louder than the voice of no, then that means that majority of the House is in the favor of the bill. And if the situation is reversed, that means that majority of the House is against the bill. So in this case, majority was in the favor. So the bill was passed by a voice vote. And one of the pros of doing so is that it implements faster decisions. Because we are not relying on physical voting, electronic voting, we are simply doing a voice vote where members have to shout. So it's a faster way of implementing decisions. It's a faster way of taking a decision, whether people are against it, whether people are for it. And this is usually done when there is very low scope of confusion, meaning when we know that we already have a majority in the House, majority either against or either in the favor of the bill. And there's a very low scope of confusion. In that case, the Speaker relies on voice vote. In fact, for the passage of transgender bill also in Lok Sabha, voice vote has been taken into consideration. And in Gujarat also, the Uniform Civil Code has been passed by a voice vote. Now, if we understand Uniform Civil Code in detail, what do we exactly mean by Uniform Civil Code? The Uniform Civil Code is a uniform set of laws. It's a similar set of laws for all the people who are residing in this state on the matters governing their civil issues. Civil issues irrespective of their religion. So whatever religion a person living in a state practices, it does not matter whether it's a civil issue of marriage, divorce, adoption, succession, etc. Everybody is going to fall under the same set of laws. This is the Uniform Civil Code. Now, because UCC is not implemented throughout the country, we have all these different states which have people living of different religions. And everybody, based on the civil matters, everybody is governed by their own set of religious laws. If a person is a Hindu, then his marriage is governed by the Hindu Marriage Act, Divorce Act, etc. And then if a person is a Muslim, then his or her marriage is governed by Sharia. So everybody is basically governed by their own set of religious laws. There's no uniform set of laws that ties everybody together. But once UCC is implemented, or wherever UCC is implemented, everybody residing in that state is going to fall under the same set of laws, irrespective of that religion. And this has been mentioned under Article 44 of the Constitution. Uniform Civil Code has been mentioned under Article 44 of the Constitution, and this promotes what? It promotes equality. So it promotes Article 14, right to equality. It promotes Article 14 of the Constitution. But is it against any minority? Is it against any cultural practices, any traditions of minorities? No. It is not against Article 29. Safeguards or exemptions have been provided to certain people, certain minorities who have very unique customs, traditions that have been there for centuries. For example, the scheduled tribes. So if we talk of the exemptions over here, exemptions in the bill, scheduled tribes have been kept out of the ambit of UCC because they have very unique set of customs, traditions, rituals, etc. So they will continue to carry on all these traditions that they have. They will not automatically fall under the ambit of UCC once it is implemented because they have been treated as an exemption. So STs are our exemption. Now, if we talk of the key provisions of this bill, in order to understand that, we must know that these provisions are derived from the recommendations of a very important committee, the Ranjana Desai Committee. Ranjana Desai Committee. This committee gave recommendations on the Uniform Civil Code implementation throughout the country. Like on marriage, bigamy or polygamy will not be allowed. Having two spouses or having multiple spouses at the same time will not be allowed. What is allowed? Only monogamy. Then marriages also have to be registered within a stipulated period of time, else there is going to be a fine. Then live-in relationships also. Live-in relationships also have to be registered. Then if we talk about adoption or succession, inheritance, then sons and daughters will have equal rights on their father's property. Sons and daughters will have equal rights. So these were some important recommendations. There are more, but there were some important recommendations that have been made on marriage, divorce, or live-in, or adoption, etc. by the Ranjana Desai Committee. And based on these recommendations itself, the provisions for Gujarat UCC also have been drafted. So if we look at the key provisions over here, the most important one is that it will not be implemented on scheduled tribes. Scheduled tribes are an exception. Then registration of marriage is mandatory. If not, there is going to be a fine that will be invited. Then live-in relationships also have to be registered. Compulsory registration of live-in relationships as well as their termination. This also has to be registered. And children who will be born out of such live-in relationships will be considered legitimate. They will not be considered illegitimate. And we are doing all these things. The registration or termination is being made mandatory. Registration of all these things is being made mandatory because we want to protect, or we want to provide legal protection to the live-in partners. In fact, the government also cited the infamous Shraddha Walker case where she was murdered by her live-in partner. So in order to provide safeguards, legal protection to our daughters, these things are being done. And if the woman is deserted in such a relationship, she can claim maintenance. This is also something that she can do. Then polygamy is banned. Marriages by force, deceit or coercion will attract up to 7 years in jail. Then any form of divorce other than the court decrees punishable, like triple talaq, it is unconstitutional. And then the couple can also remarry after they have been divorced without any conditions, meaning the practice of halala is banned. So no such things are going to happen. Everybody basically is going to be governed by the same set of laws when it comes to civil matters. When it comes to civil matters like marriage, adoption, divorce, etc. And we are going to safeguard the customary rights also. Under Article 29, so scheduled tribes have been exempted. And in fact, if there are certain customs or traditions that basically allow people to do cousin marriages, that is also going to be allowed. That will not be, that will not be banned. However, it should only be monogamy. It should not be bigamy or polygamy. It should only be monogamous. So these are certain key provisions of this bill. Now that bill has been passed by the Legislative Assembly, it will go to the governor of the state. So that was all for this discussion. Now we look at a practice question. And before we do that, you know that we have this sale for you, the Selection Mahotsav sale, where you're going to get up to 50% off on all our online courses, pen drive courses and test series, and a 25% off on books, TLP and magazines. So don't wait, enroll yourselves in your favorite course, and this sale is going to be live only till 26th of March. So do not wait, call us on this number 87501 87501, or you can also download the Drishti Learning app. Now let's look at the practice question. Consider the following statements regarding the Gujarat Uniform Civil Code Bill. 1. It proposes a single set of civil laws for all citizens of Gujarat covering marriage, divorce, inheritance and adoption. 2. It allows polygamy under certain religious customs. 3. It makes registration of live-in relationships mandatory. Choose the correct statements. A. 1 and 2 only. B. 1 and 3 only. C. 2 and 3 only, or D. 1, 2 and 3. Please attempt this question and provide your answers in the comment section. Thank you for watching.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.